Ahoy there, me mateys! Welcome to this week's reading adventures. My name is Adventurous Alex. This is Polly, my awesome assistant, and we will be guiding you on this week's journey. Remember to read for at least 30 minutes every day, and we will be celebrating your amazing reading and your writing. We are on a mission to make the world a better place, especially in London after lockdown. Last week, we looked at things we could do to help us develop good mental health, which in turn will help us to think positively, feel confident, and behave productively. Now, before thinking about our focus this week, I want you to imagine that you're playing outside in the park with some friends, and all of a sudden, you see a massive explosion a few streets away from where you're playing. You then find out that there is some kind of conflict in your country that involves violence, like a war, or being treated badly because of your race, your gender, or your religion. The most difficult thing about it all is that if you stay, you and your family might get caught up in the violence. And so you're forced to leave your house, your school, your friends, and your normal way of life. You have to go to a place where you don't know the language or the culture. Sadly, in many parts of the world, this has been the experience of more than 11 million children, your age and even younger. They haven't done anything to deserve it, and they often don't understand why they have to leave their home and their friends. Check out this video about some of the experiences of refugee children.
What does it feel like to not have a home?
طبعا يخوف بس تصير ظلمة هون ما يشعلون للأضوية.
Not good because we sleep in tents.
I would probably ask what was their life like before this happened to them.
بالبيوت يعني بيتنا بالسورية كانت كان حياتنا.
What's it like in the war?
بالسوريا هلا عم ياخدوا ما بعرف يعني حدا أخي بياخدوهم بيعطوهم سلاح بيقولوا أنتوا لازم تهاجموا ما بعرف.
We think that the most important thing to do is to be kind to everyone. You never really know what other children in your school or your community have been through. Your kindness can be the thing that saves another person from feeling really, really sad or depressed. Welcome to the recommendation station, where I will recommend something that you can read alone or with your family. This week, I would like to recommend a book called The Little Refugee by Anne Doe and Susan Doe. It's an inspirational true story about an entire family that came close to losing their lives as they escaped from a war-torn country in an overcrowded boat. They managed to escape murderous people, terrifying storms, but they survived. And eventually, with the help of friends in the new country, they were all able to see the bright side of life.
At first, the sun beat down on us. Then, luckily, clouds came and gave us shade. But then the sky turned black and an angry storm arrived. Giant waves crashed down on our little boat. I was terrified, but my mom hugged me tight and told me, "Everything will be okay. Don't worry, it will be okay."
Feel free to check out the following amazing books. Don't forget, we would love you to do something creative with your reading and upload it with your book review. To help us achieve our goal of making the world a better place, we're going to need to use language to convince people to listen to our ideas. We call this persuasive language, and this week our persuasive skill is using repetition. 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 Oh, I see what you did there. Repetition is where a single word or phrase is repeated over and over again in order to emphasize it. For example, millions of people around the world struggle to survive without fresh water. Millions of people struggle to survive without basic healthcare, and millions of people struggle to survive without enough to eat. Millions of people around the world die from starvation and disease every day. Now it's your turn. Read the following sentences and spot the use of repetition. If you can, we also want you to think about what is being emphasized and why. In Raven Reviews, I get the wonderful opportunity to showcase some of your creative work and to pick my top review for the week. My top review this week comes from the wonderful Rio, who reviewed a book called Stories for Boys Who Dare to Be Different by Ben Brooks. It's a book that has a collection of stories about boys who saw and dealt with the world differently. Rio gave it 5 stars, saying that it was interesting because it showed what people went through as boys and what they achieved as men. It's a brilliant review. Thank you very much, Rio. A special shout out to Chinar for sending us this wonderful picture of him reading The Beast by David Walliams. He's so cool. And well done to these wonderful young pirates who have also submitted book reviews. Thank you so much for continuing to submit them. That's it from me, me hearties. I bid you fair winds on your journey till we meet again soon.